It's time for GGSP. I'm Rad.
I'm Jem.
And I'm Will.
Coming up on the show, the GGSP U reviewers are back to give us their verdict on Overcooked 2.
Why are there fish everywhere? Sorry.
Plus, we journey to alien worlds and try to make them a home in our full review of Astroneer.
Exploring space, discovering new worlds.
Maybe alien life. Hey, is that a shooting star?
If there's one thing I well and truly love in games, it's space. Exploring planets unknown is escapism and wonderment at its very finest.
Well, Jem, lucky for you, there's space aplenty in Astroneer. Astroneer has been in early access for about 2 years, but has recently enjoyed a full release.
The game is very much like a more playful version of No Man's Sky. You land on the surface of a planet with little more than a mining tool and your wits to survive. You'll need to gather resources to build a base, from which you can spread out to find more resources to build more of your base.
It's a tried and true gameplay loop with a great sense of discovery and progress, even if that progress is sometimes a little slow. There's no missions or specific goal, only the lure of mystery and discovery pulling you through.
Yeah, but there is a point at which it stagnates. The repetitiveness is amplified by limited backpack slots, which means you constantly have to go back to base and unload resources.
I think the fact you can't upgrade your bag for more slots is probably my biggest gripe. Just let me carry all the things so I can explore. But whether or not you find this repetitive is more of a personality thing, I think. I love a good slow burn. It lets me soak it all up.
Me too. There's an enthralling sense of mystery, and that's always going to reel me in. Scattered throughout the world are strange, towering structures that emit an intriguing beam of light into the sky. I know there's something that happens if you power it up, but I'm not too sure what it is.
Well, I have powered up 2 so far, and let me just say, there's more mystery afoot.
Oh, I really need to know now. There are ways to speed up your progression, though. Like mods for your digging tool that increase its power and spread, or vehicles you can attach trailers to. Although, if you're going to do that, remember to use your indicators, check your blind spot, and don't drive headfirst into a ditch.
Oh! What happened? You okay?
Yes.
Progress is a lot faster in multiplayer too. You feel kind of like a little worker bee, just plugging along for the good of the hive.
So we've now got a smelting furnace, so I'm making some carbon so that we can power up that medium generator so we can have more power at our base.
I'm gonna come back with some compounds in my inventories.
Oh, there's a farty one.
Yeah, the game really came alive for me in multiplayer. I mean, granted, I am a very social gamer, but getting to build with my buds was definitely a highlight.
Okay, but if you love teamwork, why were you constantly digging me into holes? Literally.
Yeah, I can't help it if you're standing where I'm mining for resources, Jem.
Tomfoolery aside, though, the mining is so satisfying. Your point-and-shoot mining tool melts and shapes the land with ease, letting you burrow or build as you see fit and suck up tasty resources.
I particularly liked mowing space grass. It's a bit of a shame that so much of this game is about destroying the land instead of nurturing it, but I did really like the tiny bit of planting seeds that you can do. Living my dream as a space farmer.
Yeah, those weird pulsating plants were really cool. And I think the overall world design really helped add to my sense of wonder. The colorful, geometric landscape is absolutely gorgeous, feeling alien and familiar all at once. However, the subtle angle differences of the land made it really hard to use the flatten tool effectively.
Yeah, it does take some time getting used to, and the same can be said for a lot of the controls and menus. Flicking through the research catalog is messy and rather confusing. Even after hours of gameplay, I still had trouble finding what I was looking for. Although I did really like how it comes up on that little side device. It feels really tactile and immersive.
I'd give up that bit of immersion for a cleaner menu any day. I'd also rather go for a better way of storing resources than this.
Organizing takes time, and time is money.
Yes, but being organized saves time and thus money. Overall, Astroneer is a game full of rich design that delights. Exploring, mining and building are nothing new, but Astroneer manages to make it feel fresh and compelling enough to make me want to keep going, with something new always around the corner. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I think the bones of this game are super strong. It still just needs a little tweaking and fiddling. The controls are mildly fiddly, and we did see some glitches.
Oh my gosh! There's the glitch where there's a tiny, tiny, tiny organic.
Brad, you are freaking out.
What do you mean?
Little characters glitching back and forth.
But there's tons of fun to be had here, especially with friends. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yeah, multiplayer is definitely where it's at for me. Astroneer is a beautiful looking space playground that I want to see more of. So I'm also giving it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Good spawning, Australia! Welcome to the Scoop with me, Darren!
And me, Will.
Affirmative. Now let's get right into it with my fascinating segment, Darren's Dialogue Box. This week, I thought we might ponder the fate of the Electronic Entertainment Expo, otherwise known as E3. E3 has long occupied a rather important place on the gaming news calendar as the global home of video game announcements. But this year, things will be a little different, with both PlayStation and Electronic Arts opting not to hold press conferences at the convention itself. So, with no PlayStation, no EA, and with Nintendo already in the habit of doing an online-only presentation, could this be the beginning of the end of E3 as we know it?
The end of E3? It's such a hard thing to imagine, Darren. I look forward to it every year, and I'm sure so many other games journalists do as well.
But putting less importance on E3 might not be so bad. Maybe this will mean we'll start getting big announcements whenever they're ready to be announced. Perhaps more news at different events, or the constant possibility of surprise gaming news at any time.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see what this year's E3 actually ends up being like. It'll certainly be very different.
Affirmative. Now, speaking of gaming conferences, the Game Developers Conference, or GDC, took place recently in San Francisco. Some of the big news to emerge was the announcement of Google Stadia, Google's new game streaming platform. The service is said to be accessible via televisions, mobile devices, PCs, and laptops, all without the need of any gaming console hardware. There will also be the option for gamers to use a new Stadia controller. What do you think of Google's gaming gambit, Will? Will it become a main Stadia of the games industry?
Well, it's pretty big news to see a major new challenger enter the gaming arena. But it's too early to tell how it will all play out, literally. Plus, I've always been a little apprehensive about the idea of a completely streaming-based game service. Connection lag is no joke, Darren. Bad internet might mean some games just don't work.
A fair point. We may be waiting a while before we see it arrive in Australia anyhow. Stadia is launching first in the US, Canada, Europe, and the UK. Oh, and speaking of the UK, did you hear that Aussie-developed mobile game Florence has received a whopping 6 nominations across the game categories of the BAFTA Awards? That's the awards from the British Academy of Film and Television Arts.
Wow, go Team Mountains from Melbourne. It's great to see Florence getting a very British tip of the old hat, innit, Governor?
Certainly is, Governor. Now then. In other news, we have confirmation that a new Sonic game is in development. The head of Sonic Team made the announcement a few weeks ago that the next big title in the mainline Sonic series is underway.
Yes, it's exciting to know that it's happening, even though there were no other details given. Hopefully, development goes fast.
Affirmative. And now for the extra scoop! What have you got for us, Will?
Well, Darren, I've been messing around with this little website called NoClip. It allows you to fly around exploring levels from a bunch of old Nintendo games. There's Super Mario Galaxy, Banjo-Kazooie, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart, and a heap more. It's fun to get a bird's eye view on some of these great level designs.
Splendid. Oh, what was that, Boatmeal? Classic Boatmeal. He said, bird's eye view? What about a dog's eye view? Wouldn't that be black and white, though? Oh, anyway, I think that's all the time we have for this week. Until our next scoop, cheerio, Australia. Wave to the audience, Will.
They are a great audience.
So loyal, so loyal. Under pain of lasering.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Nicholas.
I'm Lorena. I'm Caitlin. And I'm Caden.
And today we're reviewing
Overcooked 2. Young bread. Where's the sushi? Overcooked 2 is a cooking game with multiple levels divided into sections, and you can play co-op up to 4 players. So you gotta chop up the ingredients.
The aim of the game is to serve your customers which order food, and you have to do it at a certain amount of time or else the customers would get angry and then you would lose points. Wait, how do we serve it?
There's lots of things that can go wrong, like burning food and accidentally dropping stuff or falling off the edge of a world sometimes. Or something.
Oh no!
Overcooked 2 is a really challenging game.
It's a lot of multitasking at the same time. You're not focusing on one meal, you have to focus on multiple.
Oh, we need a cucumber. We'll put a cucumber down. We did one competitive, but most of it was co-op. Yay, we won. Yay.
After failing at the versus mode, we decided to play the story mode. Wait, is he an onion?
Yes, he is.
The levels vary from like a graveyard to a sushi place to even a mythical place in the dungeon.
My favorite level was the sushi. We need more fish. More fish.
All of us decided to pick the panda because of like how goofy it looked.
Basically, we all went as pandas.
It was pandemonium. What is everybody doing?
Who knows?
We decided to like pick jobs, right? So I was the cutter, and then someone else was like the cooker. Someone was like putting all the food together, and then someone was serving it, and someone was washing the dishes. Okay, I'm going to put plates down.
We had a bit of a strategy. I was cooking the rice, but no one touched me the rice, so it kind of didn't work. Where's the rice?
The strategy was just make stuff.
Chop everything.
It requires a little bit of basic skill of how to make the actual food, but it isn't anything hard. But what is hard is working with your friends, because your friends are just going this way and then you're going that way.
And for the love of onions, learn to cooperate better, yes. I would say the funniest part of today was when Caden was running around with the fire extinguisher.
My favorite part of the game just has to be spraying each other with the fire extinguisher.
Stop using the fire extinguisher! Overcooked 2 is a really fun game, especially when you're playing with your friends.
Everyone's like screaming and shouting, and it's just all a mess.
Why are there fish everywhere?
Sorry.
My favorite thing about the game is probably all the cute little characters with the big heads.
I really enjoy the hecticness, even though it can be a bit stressful. What are we doing?
This sucks. My least favorite thing about Overcooked 2 is the frustratingness of having to get all the dishes out in a time limit and not having any of the dishes failed. Wow, what is going on? And also sometimes when everyone's running around the kitchen and accidentally getting in each other's ways.
I didn't really like the conveyor belts. They're trying to push against each other and it's really annoying.
Can we all work together?
Overcooked can definitely not train you to work in a kitchen.
Why the plate on the floor?
You're not meant to chuck things on the floor when you're in the kitchen.
And if you do that in a real kitchen, you would have a lawsuit, and then you would have to pay a huge sum of money because of your meals not meeting the standards of hygiene and health.
This is a top quality restaurant and we just give them the floor. Overall, Overcooked 2 is a really frustrating but also fun game. I give it 3.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
It's a really good game, and I rate it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I think it's a very good game. I give it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
If you're in for a fun game with all your friends, then I would highly recommend it. I'd give it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens. Wait, did we do good or bad?
All right, it's that time once again.
Yes, lunchtime. No, wait, hammer time? Crunch time.
No, Will. Question time. We're at the Ask SP desk to answer questions, not eat lunch.
Of course. But When is lunch?
Oh, soon, Will. Very soon. But first, we have a video question from awesome Minecrafter, aka Edward.
GGSP, I have 3 big Minecraft questions for you. 1, can you tame squids in Minecraft? 2, how do you dive down in Minecraft on an iPad? 3, when is the next update coming for Minecraft? Please answer these questions. Bye.
Thanks, Edward. To your first question about whether you can tame squids in Minecraft. I don't believe you can currently tame squids in regular Minecraft, not in the way that you can tame some other creatures anyway.
Oh, that's just squidiculous.
Well, maybe one day it'll be possible. In the meantime, you could look into spawning or summoning some squids at a location of your choosing, as long as it's in water because squids take damage on land. Wait, is it squids or squid?
I think either are acceptable.
Oh, good to know.
Now on to how to dive down in Minecraft on the iPad. Well, to swim deeper, once you're in water, you should be able to just press the lower button to delve further down into the watery depths.
On to your question about when the next big Minecraft update is due out. If you mean Village and Pillage, I believe the big update is still planned for an official release in early 2019. The developers tend to not advise on specific release dates for these kind of major updates too far in advance, so it can be hard for us to know.
That's true, but I think some features of the update have been rolling out in the beta versions or snapshots, which are playable tests of the new upcoming elements. So you could take a look at these. Otherwise, keep an eye out on the Minecraft website's news for more info.
Now let's see, our next question appears to be from Queen Victoria the 1 millionth, who is in every Pokemon game, Queensland.
It's a big place.
Quite large. Hey GGSP, I have some questions for you. 1, what devices or consoles can you get Cuphead on? 2, are there any new Pokemon games coming out this year and what Nintendo or devices will they be on? 3, what is your favorite Pokemon game? Mine's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Please answer. My royal Pikachu want to also know the answers. P.S. Bow to the maybe Queen Victoria the 1 millionth. P.P.S. I like your hair gem. P.P.P.S. New person replacing Goose. Welcome to GGSP. Thanks.
Why, thank you, Queen Victoria the 1 millionth.
Yes, thank you, Your Highness. That sure is a lot of Queen Victorias.
It certainly is. In answer to your first question about what devices or consoles you can get Cuphead on, Cuphead is currently available for Xbox One and PC. Plus, it was recently announced that it's coming to the Nintendo Switch in April.
Regarding the matter of new Pokemon games due out this year, the big ones to look out for are Pokemon Sword and Shield. These will be the next main RPGs in the series set to come to the Nintendo Switch later this year.
As for our favourite Pokemon game, well, I must admit I haven't played a heap of Pokemon games, so I'm going to give an honourable mention to Pokemon Go, and also agree with you, Queen Victoria the 1 millionth, that since playing Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, I'd have to say that's my new fave. What about you, Will?
Look, I must admit I'm a bit of a Pokemon noob, so I don't really have a favourite, but I'm always happy to be enlightened in the ways of the Pokemon. Maybe Sword and Shield will be for me.
Never too late to catch them all. Now let's have another question. This one is from Connor in Salamander Bay. My question is, how do I unlock Gold Mario on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? And what happens when I do unlock Gold Mario?
Thanks, Connor. To answer your question about unlocking Gold Mario in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the way to do this is to get a gold trophy in all of the 200cc Grand Prix Cups.
That's right. Once you do this, Gold Mario should appear in the same position as Metal Mario on the character screen. But, you know, this is pretty hard to achieve. I haven't managed it myself.
Yeah, neither have I. But I wonder if Darren has.
Let's ask him, shall we?
Greetings, you've reached Darren.
Hi, Darren. Will and Gem at the Ask SP desk. Just wondering real quick, have you managed to unlock the Gold Mario in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
Have I unlocked Gold Mario, you asked? Have I unlocked Gold Mario? Let me ask you this. Am I not an elite gaming unit? Am I not a noob-busting genius of gaming?
Wait, are you not? So that means if I say yes, then you are not. So it's a double negative. I'm confused.
Yeah, well, look, we're hearing a lot of questions here, Darren, but not a lot of answers.
What's that, Mumbot? Oh, apologies. I must go. Mumbot needs my help opening a jar of coolant. Bye-bye.
Wait, Darren! Oh. Strange. Normally, Darren's more than willing to regale us with his tales of gaming victories.
Yeah, well, maybe that yellow card scare from last week has got him, as they say, shook.
Shooketh, even. Well, it looks like we're out of time. If you have a question you'd like us to answer, head over to this here website and make it a video question for your chance to score a GGSP pin.
Okay, is it lunchtime now?
No, Will. Now It's crunch time.
Ah, well, we better get crunching.
You can stop crunching. Well, that's it for another show, GGS peeps. But next week, we've got a whole lot more. Jem pays a visit to a retro console museum. And we'll review the brand new Nintendo platformer, Yoshi's Crafted World.
I do admire Yoshi's iron stomach. He seems capable of ingesting almost anything.
I'm pretty sure Kirby can beat him at that game.
Yeah, I'd say so. Don't forget to check out all the extra vids we've got for you online. And keep coming back on Friday afternoons for our crazy fun live streams.
Avoid the FOMO, be there.
Or be square.
Kind of like you, hey Darren, you're a bit square-shaped.
More of a rectangular prism.
We'll see you next week. Will out.
Gem out.
Rat out.
Darren out.